Am I the a-hole for telling my girlfriend I want a break after she cussed me out because I left her at my family reunion? I, 27 male, have been dating Emma, 27 female, for a year and 3 months. I can tell you I love her, but I have recently told her I want a break because of how she spoke to me, yelling and cussing me out. She's saying couples fight and that's all it was. I don't know if I really want to feel this way again. Now she's telling me I'm the a-hole for trying to walk away over a fight. I need advice because after 4 days, I'm wondering if I've ended things too fast. It all started a week ago today. I took my girlfriend to my family reunion. The first one since and everyone showed up. My big family was all together. My girlfriend would be meeting a lot of new people, but a few she's met already. Being at the reunion an hour, my girlfriend and I were talking to my cousin, 30 female, who knew my girlfriend from working together. So, while those two were catching up, I saw an uncle I haven't seen in a while. So, I went over and said hello. Talking with him for about 10 minutes. I kept turning around to see if my girlfriend was still with my cousin talking. My grandmother asked me to help carry 4 tables. I let my girlfriend know I was going to carry 4 tables inside and asked did she want to come. She said, if I had known you'd be leaving me alone, I would have stayed home. I said, I'm sorry. I wasn't meaning for you to feel that way. I helped and came right back. She said, whatever. And walked back towards everyone. You could visibly see she was upset. And I asked her, please, not here, not in front of my family. She said, take me home. Then I said, are you serious right now? She started walking towards the car. Driving her home, I said, I was gone 10 to 15 minutes. She said, it doesn't matter how long you were gone. You left me alone looking like a dumbass. I felt so blindsided and in shock that things escalated this quickly. 30 minutes earlier, I was just carrying the tables in. At one point, she was just yelling and going off. Then she said, you're acting like a dumbass. It's ridiculous. As she got out of the car, she said, I'll call you when I'm ready to talk. I drove home in silence, confused about how we got here, and I'm wrong for leaving her and not thinking about how she'd feel. I do understand that, and I apologized. I thought she would be comfortable with my cousin, and I didn't think that she would walk away. My girlfriend spoke to me like I was trash and I'm not okay with it. Later that night, I got a text from her best friend saying how I'm an a-hole for leaving her and what was the point of bringing her. She told me my girlfriend was upset and couldn't believe me. After 3 days of not hearing from her, I texted her a long message letting her know I loved her, but I don't ever want to be spoken like that by my partner. It's been 3 days and I haven't heard from you. I understand being wrong, but not hearing from you for 3 days is crazy. She called me and when I answered, she told me, I'm wrong for wanting to take a break because she's upset. She said, you left me and you don't see a problem with that. And I told her, it's how you spoke to me that's the issue. I didn't mean to have you feeling alone, but even after apologizing, you kept going. She said, couples fight. And she can't believe I want to end things. I do care about her and love her, but for the past 3 days, I've been thinking about how she spoke to me. Sitting in that feeling and not hearing from her didn't help. I sent texts and called her, but she didn't answer. I keep thinking about how she was just yelling and cussing me out. Am I the a-hole for wanting to break up? Please, whatever advice is needed. Sorry for the long post. No, Opie, you're not the a-hole. You're someone that got blindsided, disrespected, and gaslit because you weren't okay with it. Your girlfriend didn't just express hurt. She attacked you. She cursed you, humiliated you in front of your family, and doubled down when you asked for peace. Then she ghosted you for days, and sent her friend to shame you. And now she's calling your boundary, the way that you don't want to be spoken to, a problem. And no, you're allowed to say, I don't want to be spoken like that by someone who claims to love me, you're breaking up over this. That's not quitting. That's self-respect. And yeah, couples do fight. But insulting your partner is not the way to do it. Don't get stuck in that loop of was it a fight or a breakup. It doesn't matter. Your boundary was crossed. That's it. She showed you how she handles conflict and now you get to decide if that's something you're willing to accept. Personally, I wouldn't stand for it. What do you guys think? Update. I was not expecting so many people to comment and give advice. Thank you everyone. Honestly, I needed to hear some of these comments. A few of you said she's done this before in some way. I never seen her that upset. It really threw me off. And for it to be the first time at my family reunion again, it threw me off. When she asked to leave immediately instead of us figuring out what was going on, I didn't think my family reunion was the place for us to have any type of back and forth. So, of course, I took her home. I'm not someone who yells at my partner. My parents only communicated through yelling and random outbursts. I don't communicate that way and don't want a relationship like my parents. I'm 6 feet 2 inches, 210 pounds. It doesn't look good for someone my size to be yelling at my partner. I don't ever want my partner to feel intimidated or unsafe from me yelling at her. Anyway, a day after I posted, I texted Emma asking if we could talk. A few of you said she could have social anxiety that I didn't know about. I have a really big family, so I wanted to see if maybe that was it. I asked her did she have social anxiety and she said no. I said, help me understand why you're so upset. She said, you don't understand how uncomfortable it is to just stand around not knowing anyone, and you should have stayed around longer before leaving me. You could have said, come with me while I move the tables. After she was done talking for about 5 minutes, I told her, I'm done with this relationship. You came up with all these different scenarios of things I should have done, but here's one you didn't think about. You didn't tell me that it made you uncomfortable being alone so I could be with you. I would have understood you only know 10 people out of 70 or 80 people. So I would have just walked you around meeting everyone. This was a moment I could have shown you that I care about your feelings and you could trust. My family is super inviting and all she had to do was give it all a chance. This has all shown me that this isn't a relationship I want to be a part of and I don't want to be in a relationship where my partner is justifying cussing me out. She started backpedaling and saying a lot of other stuff, but I told her I had to go and good luck in life. I haven't spoken to her at all. I blocked her number and I blocked her friend's number. I want to find my partner. I want to be with someone who can talk to me and figure things out. I feel like that was an easy win for our relationship, but it went the way it did for some reason. Oh, and for those of you wondering, I didn't miss out on the reunion since it's been a while. Our reunion was the entire weekend. My grandparents have a farmhouse that sits on a lot of acres, so a lot of us camped out the entire weekend. The first day was us setting up our tents. The second day, all the cousins, 20 to 40-year-old, had a kickball tournament. And the third day, we had a big fish fry. My family kept my mind busy those days. She wasn't speaking to me, and it helped me so much. I can't wait to have a partner I can share memories like this weekend with. Thank you everyone who gave me advice. Will be, good for you. You chose clarity over chaos, respect over repair. That's strength. Now you keep going forward, eyes open and heart grounded. The right partner will meet you there. So, in the meantime, OP, take care and thanks for sharing. Story 2. Am I the a-hole? And it's by user Glass Stair Hallway. Am I the a for not reimbursing my friend after telling her she can't come on our trip? I really need some perspective here because I have multiple people telling me I'm the a-hole. My partner, 30 male, and I, 29 female, are planning a trip with 2 of our couple's friends to a destination a 6-hour drive away. We booked a super nice Airbnb that was $2,000 per couple for a total of 4 nights. We all paid a non-refundable deposit back in January for $1,000 per couple. We verified with everyone that they were okay with not getting that money back, no matter what. We all just paid the last $1,000 per couple as the trip is in a few days. For context, Anna, 29, female, and Kyler, 29, male, are pregnant with their first baby. Anna has multiple autoimmune diseases and other issues that have made her pregnancy extremely high risk. Also, Morgan, 27 female, and Danny, 29, male, have a 2-year-old son who they were planning on bringing on the trip. The situation. Morgan just texted Anna and I to tell us that her son came down with severe hand, foot, and mouth disease, but asked if it was okay for them to still come and bring their son on the trip. Morgan is a nurse and knows about Anna's condition, so I was surprised that she asked to bring her son in that condition. They were also unwilling to leave their son behind. So, it was all of them or nothing. Anna and I chatted privately and Anna did not feel comfortable because of her autoimmune issues and high-risk pregnancy. Because of this, we told Morgan that we were no longer comfortable with them coming. Morgan immediately came back asking us to Venmo her for the $2,000 they had already spent for the Airbnb. She was very demanding and accusatory, which rubbed me the wrong way. I told her I was comfortable sending them the $1,000 refundable part of the cost, but not the $1,000 non-refundable part because we had all agreed we wouldn't get that back. This would put my partner and I and Anna and Kyler out an extra $500 we weren't planning on for the trip, but I felt like that was fair since they weren't going, but had agreed back in January that the $1,000 wasn't refundable and they were okay not getting that back. Morgan absolutely lost her crap and told us we were selfish and horrible friends. She accused us of being greedy and valuing money more than friendship. Well, that's what she's doing. She said since we were the ones telling them they couldn't go that we should pay them back for everything they had spent. I'm torn. On one hand, I get their frustration. On the other hand, I feel like this is part of the risk you take when traveling with children. I also do not have kids though, so I don't have the full perspective. For context, if it matters, we all make about the same amount of money, but Morgan and Danny have been struggling financially due to poor financial decisions and excessive debt. So, Reddit friends, am I the a-hole? Should I just pay the full thing back to them to preserve the friendship? OP, you're not the a-hole. Their child getting sick isn't their fault, but honoring the non-refundable agreement is still the deal they agreed to. You didn't ban them out of nowhere. You protected a high-risk pregnancy. That's reasonable. Morgan pushed anyway, knowing the risks. When told no, she demanded to shift the loss to everyone else. You're already offering to split the cost, and that's generous enough. This isn't about blame. It's about boundaries. She didn't choose for her son to get sick. But she did agree to the terms. You're not being cold, you're being fair. What do you guys think? Update. We talked to Anna and Kyler and told them we would support whatever they decide since they were the ones the most uncomfortable with Morgan and Danny coming. They liked the idea of splitting the non-refundable deposit 3 ways, each paying $333. So Anna and Kyler and my partner and I will each pay $833 back to Morgan and Danny, but they are still out $333. Ultimately though, I think this has shown us a lot about who Morgan and Danny are, and my partner and I plan on distancing ourselves from them as friends. Also, no more friend trips and yes to trip insurance, which I didn't know existed in the future. Thumbs up. Well, you guys came to a solution that you all apparently think it's fair. So, good for you and also good for you for taking a distance from Morgan and Danny. They showed their true colors. Take care, Opie, and thanks for sharing. And that's it for today's video. Thank you so much for taking the time to watch it. Now, if you've gotten to this point in the video, I assume that you like these stories that I'm reading out. So, here are a couple more that you might enjoy. And if you don't have any time to watch another story right now, save it for later. Story 3. I, 28M, and my wife, 25F, are expecting our first child together later this summer. We're both really nervous but also very excited and are trying to involve both sets of soon-to-be grandparents with all the stuff during her pregnancy as appropriate. For context, my wife's mother is from Ecuador and her dad is black, first generation born outside Ghana. I'm a white dude. She is not a white girl. This is important for the story. I was visiting with my parents recently who live about 90 minutes from us. I went by myself, the wife electing to stay home and rest. My parents and I had split some wine and honestly we were having a pretty good time. But a ways into polishing off the second bottle as the conversation went on, my boomer mother, 60F, said, "I'm just really disappointed that my grandchildren won't look like me." I literally almost punched her. That is the most vile and disgusting shit I have ever heard come out of her mouth. I just stared at her in the shocked Pikachu face as my brain short-circuited. Even my dad looked a little embarrassed. I didn't have a super quick and witty comeback for this like I see some of you guys in this group do with boomer shit, because I was truthfully really rattled that my own mother said this to me. I took some time to gather my composure and asked her to apologize as calmly as possible. What for? She had the absolute audacity to ask. You know we love, insert wife's name, we just always pictured our grandchildren being white. That's all. My dad didn't say anything during this conversation, but he certainly didn't disagree with her either. We got into a huge argument spurred on even more by the wine we had. I eventually told her, honestly, after learning that these are your thoughts on this, I'm going to seriously consider not letting either of you be in this kid's life, as well as any more we might have in the future. Oh, that's ridiculous. Why are you overreacting? You can't do that, she shouted, the narrator voice announcing this as the moment she realized she fucked up. We're their family. I ended up leaving right then, telling her before I left that being related to someone doesn't give you the right to do and say anything you want to with impunity. Now I'm super angry at myself for driving home with more wine in my system than I should have, nothing horrifying, 3 glasses in about an hour and a half, which is certainly 3 more than I should have had. I was just so viscously angry and so pumped full of adrenaline that I got in the car and went home without thinking. My wife is an absolute angel, didn't ask too many questions when I came back visibly upset. I told her my parents pissed me off and she just put a movie on for us and made some food. She's literally the best thing that's ever happened to me, and I can't bring myself to tell her what my mom said because I know my wife wouldn't be able to get over it. I certainly don't think I ever will. For the sake of my child who will be mixed, I'm considering cutting contact with my parents completely, in particular my mom, but they're a package deal. If that seems extreme, this isn't the only time my mom has driven a nail into my skull with her narcissistic boomerisms. This was kind of just the nail in the coffin. She's a classic bootstraps lifting, boundary violating, $30,000 home buying, war on terror cheering, AI-generated photo she thinks is real Facebook posting, baby boomer. But the casual boomer racism regarding her own grandchildren is too much for me to personally stomach. If I got a real, genuine, heartfelt apology from her, then I might consider not cutting her out. Maybe. Anyways, rant over. The legacy of this generation will certainly live on, but only as a cautionary tale. Edit, don't worry guys. I am going to tell my wife everything. She absolutely deserves to know. I just need a day or two to calm down a little to handle that conversation appropriately. Story 4. I, 29F, have been with my fiancé, 30M, for 5 years. He is the best thing that's ever happened to me and I cannot wait to spend the rest of my life with him. My fiancé's sister passed away suddenly in a tragic accident 9 years ago, before we met. That same year, I also lost my dad. I bring this up because I'm struggling with how to approach a sensitive issue with my future mother-in-law. She's been making comments about honoring loved ones who aren't with us, things like photo boards or memory tables at the wedding. I know she's thinking of her daughter, and I truly respect that this loss is something she carries every day. At the same time, my own situation is complicated. My mom has pretty severe social anxiety, worsened by years of living alone. She didn't even attend her own mother's funeral. Despite that, we're incredibly close, closer than I ever imagined possible. She's made it clear she won't be coming to the wedding, and while I know she'd show up if I really pushed, I'm at peace with her decision and fully support her. Here's where I'm struggling: the idea of a tribute to my fiancé's sister feels off. If we honor his sister, it feels wrong not to do something for my dad. And if we do that, it feels like a spotlight on my mom's absence, which is painful in a different way. It just doesn't sit right with me. I have a visceral reaction to it that I can't shake. Before saying anything, I asked my fiancé how he felt about it. He said it wasn't important to him to include a memorial. Once I explained how it felt for me, how layered and emotional it is, he completely understood and supports me 100%. Now I need to figure out how to tell his mom. I don't want to go into all the reasons. It's deeply personal, and honestly, I don't think she'd fully understand. I just want to set a boundary kindly but clearly: no photos or memorials at the wedding. So, Reddit, how do I say this in a way that's respectful, but firm? And also, don't forget to hit that subscribe button.